okay? 24 hours to the impact.
Yes, less than 24 hours before Hurricane Eta is scheduled to pass less than 100 miles just to the north of us here in San Andres. Currently a Category 1 traveling west at 15 miles per hour, little did we know within 10 hours she would be up to Category 4 and headed for 5. It's early morning and this is our good friend Daniel Para coming to help us with our anchor strategy for the storm.
It's only water, it's either sink or swim. Can't hold back your light and expect to win. Gotta go harder, oh you've gotta learn. Don't suppress your fire, baby, let it burn. Be who you are. Nobody can take that away from you. Oh, straight from the heart. No playing games. You gotta be true, true, true. You gotta be.
I'm just testing the microphone right now. Okay, so you figured these out?
I close everything with the same.
Good.
Here is the last.
Only this, Rick, is very hard for me to close.
It won't close because the rope is a bit too big.
I imagine that.
Rick, this I think so in a future, the next week is possible when it's all calm, we need to change this. And in another size in the peak, in the corner I need to.
How's it sound, Danny?
Good.
Any wind?
No, my friend, the wind is good.
Okay, Rick?
No
Okay.
wind.
What's that?
It's okay? We close.
Yeah, you got that all lashed down, that's good.
We close all.
The zipper's closed as far as it can.
Closed. Now Sebastian go up to check if you, but I remember
Okay.
that I go up the last time for close very well.
Okay, so as far as our anchors,
Do you want then, I use the same snubber and I make two with this or complete replacement?
no, we can actually probably just reverse this one because this end
Yes.
has been never used.
Yes.
So we can just reverse this end and then we'll just hook the other one up. We'll just tie it to the chain like we used to with before we had the hook, and we'll run it up to the other side of the bow on that one. So we'll have two snubbers going to the same point on the chain.
Okay.
But we won't be hooking that up until we get the anchors deployed, because we may have to pull the chain up and down a couple times to get that anchor in the water hooked up to the chain in the proper place.
Okay.
Okay, so
I go to change my t-shirt.
So what our goal here is, Sebastian, we've got one anchor on the ground now.
Yep.
That's our Mantis 105, and that's been good. It holds us through 40, 50 knots, you know, of squalls, but that's only like half an hour of wind.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I don't want to put a second anchor in the water on a second chain because the wind is going to rotate.
Of course.
And as the wind rotates, if we've got an anchor out there and an anchor here, one of two things is going to happen. The boat's going to turn this way and drag the two anchors together and foul them, or at the very least, it's going to take the two chains coming to the boat, and as we turn around, it's going to twist them.
Just worse.
And-
The worst situation.
Well, yeah, because if we twist the anchors together, the chains, and then they start to foul and drag, we can't retrieve them.
It's,
Because they're under full load with, you know, obviously if that happens, we've got big wind at the time, they're going to be under full load, and we won't be able to, I don't think the engine on the boat is going to be enough power to overcome that much wind to push us around and untangle them. So we just want to avoid that completely. So if you've ever heard of like putting a kedge on an anchor, just a big weight, basically the anchor that's at the end of the chain, we come about 2 meters back from the anchor, and you would put a big, like a 15 or 20 pound piece of iron or steel or whatever,
Okay.
just as a weight, because that increases your action of the chain to the
Yes.
anchor, so that you can use less scope, less chain.
okay, perfect.
Because we don't have the option here of putting out more chain, or we're going to run afoul of these boats that are in the anchorage ahead of us. Because as we turn around, they're on a fixed amount of chain, and we don't want to hit them. So what we're going to do instead, like right now we're at 30 meters, we will probably put out another 10 meters once we get the chain hooked up with the anchors that we want. And that should be safe, even with that boat right there. But we can't put out like, you know, another 100 feet or something, or another 30 meters. That would be way too much. So what we're going to do is use this Rockna 33 kilogram as our kedge. We're going to put this with this bracket right here. See this shackle?
Yep.
We're going to put this shackle. It's already got a pivot on it, so it can't, you know,
Get there.
bind up the chain or anything. And we're going to bolt this directly to the chain, like just in through one of the links of the chain, about 6 feet back from the primary anchor.
Okay, perfect.
And then this will become a kedge, but also an anchor. So it's going to be the first one that digs in. The Mantis will follow it and dig in. Will actually more than double the holding power of the primary anchor.
Perfect.
And when we rotate, this one will come on, it will dislodge itself first and pull to the new angle of the boat. And as it sets, it'll pull the Mantis in behind it, just like a train.
Okay.
They'll both set, they'll both increase our holding power so that hopefully we don't end up in the boat graveyard. Because I'm not worried about going that way so much. The wind is going to be coming from the west, so from the island, which is good for us because that hill across the whole island is going to break most of the wind. What we have behind us is the quay.
The key and the El Bajo.
Yeah, we've got Cotton Key behind us, but of course the water shoals up long before it gets to the quay. So our worst case scenario, if we drag anchor over here, is we're just going to end up with our keel stuck in the mud, and we'll probably end up heeled over until somebody comes and pulls us off after the storm. But that's our worst case. We don't want to get to that point, but worst case, that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So we don't have much choice in that matter. What I do want to know is those bottles were never there before, and they're going to be right in our trajectory as we turn around with the wind out of the west. So I want to know what those bottles are attached to.
That bottles are to the lobster tram in the bottom.
Yeah, but they've been there for a long time, so they're going to interfere. Like if we drift back that way, I don't want them getting tied up or tangled in our rudder,
Yeah.
or our propeller if we need to use our engine.
Sure.
So we're going to take the dinghy over there later and just have a look down and see what they actually are. Are they tied
Okay.
to somebody's mooring, or is it just a lobster pot, or what is it?
Okay, perfect.
Because they've been there for quite a while, and I don't know who left them there. They just kind of appeared, but they haven't moved since. So anyway, that's our objective with this anchor. And then there's another anchor underneath here in the anchor locker.
Or emergency anchor.
So here, you grab that shank. We'll just lift this back a little bit. Put it right there. So right in here, you see there's a brand new Mantis 85 pound. That's the new Mantis 2. So we are going to take this out. We're going to build it, put it together. It just needs one great big bolt through the shank.
Okay.
And you see the second chain there?
Yes, sir.
That's the chain there. It's attached to this little anchor that's underneath it right now. So we're going to take that anchor off, and we're going to attach it to the Mantis 2 in such a way that if we get into an emergency, the Mantis 2 will be sitting right here on deck. we'll have the chain run through there and out around here to the anchor. We get into trouble, boom, we just throw it in the water.
Okay.
That way, if we have any problems with the primary system with the 2 anchors, even if the chain breaks or some stupid thing like that, we immediately deploy the Mantis 2 on the second chain.
Okay. We are ready for everything.
Yeah, we're not going to deploy it unless we need it. It's just there as a backup, because in 50 knots of wind, 60 knots of wind, you don't want to be building your anchor then.
Yeah.
You know, you want everything ready, so boom, over it goes. Okay, so that's it. So now we just have to plan.
Snobber.
Or go to the bottom to put this anchor. I think
Yeah.
the more hard thing is move the anchor to that place.
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm wondering. We can probably bring the boat up to the primary anchor and then maybe lower that down to the bottom on a rope, but you guys, one of you might need a dive tank,
I can go.
and then you just got to maneuver it into position
Yeah,
close to the
don't
chain.
worry for- That's my work. I'd be happy to do that work.
And then what I got to do is just unload the chain for you for a little while
Okay.
until you get it ready. Just let's test it by taking off the shackle bolt and make sure that bolt is going to go through the link of this chain.
We need
Pliers, yeah.
support.
Okay, so we'll do that first. That's next.
Yes.
All right, break. Cut.
Cut.
No, it should be fine. It's going to be fairly mellow today, but starting to pick up wind tonight.
Yes.
Middle of the night is when it's going to start blowing more out of the north out this way. We'll have to see what the weather, you know, in case we need the dinghy, maybe we'll take the bimini off the dinghy just so it doesn't become a liability in huge
Yeah.
wind. Here, let me see it. Take it out all the way for a sec.
This is the another job that we need to do on plasma.
Yeah, is it still working?
Yeah. But we need to end plasma. We never know then.
Mm-hmm.
Go down a little bit. Okay.
Hard you pull on it, it will always come undone.
That is the most important note.
Yeah, the bowline is the most important for sure. If you're gonna learn any knot, learn a bowline. Okay, so give me this
Okay.
end. So I'll just put a loop under,
Okay.
come around. I might need a little bit more line. Okay.
Eso es fácil de aprender, Mae. Es el más importante, el que más se usa en el mar siempre.
Yeah, that's a very important one. But basically, you see, you just take it, if you're right-handed like me, you take your straight line, the one in your right hand,
Yeah.
loop it under,
Yep.
so it's under, and then pinch it,
Okay.
and then you
Under.
take the loose end, come from underneath, and back through the hole,
Okay.
just like so, and then pull it to tighten it down from both ends, and just like so. And then the more you pull on it,
More tight.
the harder it will tighten itself down on itself. There.
Okay.
See, I'm just bringing in a little bit of chain at a time,
Okay.
and then when it goes vertical, it becomes heavy, and the weight of the chain actually starts to pull us forward. See how it's sagging again now?
Yeah.
So I pull in a little bit more, goes
I make a resistance now.
now stop, and it just keeps bringing us up towards the anchor. We can do that right now because we don't have a ton of wind, but normally if we have a lot of wind, you still need the engine of the boat. Okay, that's 60 feet. There's our 40-foot mark.
Now we have
Yeah.
45 feet in the water.
Of chain up to the anchor. So I'm bringing us right up to the anchor, and then maybe we can use that rope, Maddie. Is it long enough, I wonder, to drop this anchor down to the bottom? So that,
This.
yeah. Is that long enough, you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is enough.
Okay, there's the anchor right there. It's right under our bow now.
Okay.
So,
I need my mask.
Yeah, the tank.
Oh, the tank is
You want
if
the
I
tank?
need to move the thing.
They are all empty.
here, if we
Yeah.
drop this over the side, can you, let's do it here though so it goes down over this rail, not hit the side of the boat. And then we're gonna have to let it down slowly with the rope. So let's unfurl the rope. Okay. Yeah, this should be plenty long. Make sure it's not going to tie itself in a knot on us. Okay. You got it?
This is our new
This
mantis.
is a new mantis gear for dive. Okay. Signor, dive. The second one.
Amazing.
It's nice, eh?
It's new technology for me.
Let's see. Pressure we got. 160 bar.
Yeah, 2 hours with my lungs, breathing soft
Like a free diver.
like a free diver. It's like a little backpack.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The benefit of compact dive gear.
It's nice, eh?
Oh yeah.
Now when you come back, we
Can't wait
Okay.
till we get in a place we can use it more frequently.
yeah. I want my certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get pressure again.
Check your pressure
Yep, 150.
and check your regulator. No problems. Okay. Oh, you've already got that one through. Okay, you're good. Have fun. Down he goes. Danny, tell Sebastian to come up for a minute before he fastens it. I just want to pass on one piece of information. Hey Sebastian,
Tell me, sir.
just to clarify, what we want as the end result is the two anchors to be 6 feet apart.
Yes, I know.
So I just wanted to clarify, like don't tie it to the chain 6 feet behind. Put the anchor 6 feet behind the other one and then the shank tied to the anchor after that. So
Okay, maybe two.
it might actually be 3 meters, you know, where you tie them together. So that the anchors, we want the anchors 2 meters apart.
Yeah, I understand. You
Okay.
need to release more change for that.
Okay. Coming your way. He used the weight of the chain to take him down. Yeah, these guys are a good team.
Yes, Capitan.
We got to keep these guys together if we can.
Well, we need only to change the food to the habitude for it to Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel is only tied to land as his daughter Luisa, but we told him if he wants to bring Luisa, that's no problem for us. Be a heck of a world for her to explore.
Oh, yeah.
Here now, all of my people, yeah, we all so strong. Ooh, move, drive right through the fire. See how far we go. Ooh, we are brave and we are ready to roll. Now and forever. Ooh, where there's fire burning, we are the storm. Now and forever, ever. Oh, all of these are destinies. So tell me where you'd rather be. The soup and all the energies are yours. We are free and we are strong. Got all the world within a song. Shout it out and let it all be known. I'll stay close to my people, never lose our hope. Send stars, infinite power when we are as one.
I wanted one tool for tight a little bit more depth.
Yeah, okay, so I'll get you a wrench, and also we need a piece of wire, like a wire string to put through the hole
Okay,
and wrap around it that it can't come undone by its own accidentally.
okay, yes, because when the chain move, the chain move it, move all the thing.
Right. Just like the one that's on the anchor. You see the end of the anchor? It's got a wire in it. So
Yes,
it
I
can't-
know, in the little hole to the...
Yeah, the wire's there so that can't unscrew.
And the tank working well? The tank?
Oh, it's perfect,
The
it's
scuba gear?
amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's light?
Light, easy for use.
What's your air at now?
A little bit more than... Well, I spent more than I needed. 100.
100?
Yes, because when you are
Okay.
carrying heavy things in the bottom, you need to breathe.
Right.
Uh,
Okay, let me get you a wrench.
yep, I wait for you.
Ooh, we are brave and we are ready to roll. Now and forever. Ooh, where there's fire burning, we are the storm. Now and forever, ever. Oh.
Okay, so I got a pair of pliers
Okay,
and the stainless wire. I just wrapped around the pliers for you so you don't lose it on the way down.
okay, thank you, sir.
Just wrap it in and around a bunch of stuff. Got it? Okay.
Good job.
I think he likes this stuff.
All of these are destinies, so tell me where you'd rather be. The soup and all the energies are yours. We are free and we are strong. Got all the words within a song. Shout it out and let it all be known. We are infinity.
So now our objective is to give it a test of what's actually going to happen if the wind does reverse as we turn, and how the anchors will reset themselves. So I'm just putting us out to the normal level of chain we had, which is going to be 100 feet. I'm probably going to let it a little bit more when we're actually done. But I'm going to put the chain out, I'm going to put the snubber on it, and then I'm going to start up the engine, and we're going to have Sebastian go down and check out the anchors with the camera while I run the boat towards Cotton Key, replicating what happens if this hurricane hits us from the front from the island. So then we'll just watch and see what happens, see if the two anchors reseat themselves the way that we hope they do. So it's best to know in advance. So that's what we're going to do now.
Yes, gran angular.
Okay.
Wide angle with the GoPro. Hey, black edition.
Grand angle or normal?
Launching 3, 2, ignition of all.
Okay, Cap, we're ready.
Okay.
I go deep.
Yeah, you let me know when you're ready, and as soon as I see
Ya.
you.
Vigilarme a mí. Que no vaya a pasar ningún bote.
Okay, the anchor snubber is set. We got 100 feet out, snubber's on. We're getting Danny in the dinghy. He's gonna go run patrol out over top of Sebastian just to make sure no crazy boats go speeding past while we got a man in the water. And engine is warming up, as you can hear. Just gonna give it a second. We'll let Danny get into position, and then we're gonna start backing down on the anchor in this direction first. We'll watch and see what happens. Well, Sebastian will watch and see what happens with the anchors, how they set here, and then we're just going to take and go full forward all the way up towards Cotton Key off our bow there, and force the anchors to manually reset themselves and see what happens. That's the plan. Bien, you good?
Yes.
Okay,
Prepare to the explosion.
you're all good?
Yeah.
All right, don't kill Sebastian. Whoa. And we'll wait till Danny gets in position, make sure he's all set, so Sebastian has a good guard, and then we're in business. Okay, you good? Perfect. That's my cue. Let the experiment begin. Hurricane anchoring system, test 1. Reverse. And we watch across there, see when we hook, and there we go. And you can see our bow just swung. All right, more wind. You can see we're churning up lots of water. That full extension. So we know we were dug in pretty good on this angle already, so now I'm going to go put it in forward, and we're going to shoot over towards Cotton Key and see what happens when we unlodge them. Neutral. Keep marking the spot. I'm going to shoot forward up into here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still at full right, but we got the bow is catching and it's spinning us around. Once we rotate a little further, I'll put it in reverse and start backing up on it. Yeah, you can see right there, that's where Sebastian is, that's where the anchors are. And now we should be starting to see the anchors resetting down there. See, we got good turbulence coming off the propeller, so we're representing quite a bit of wind there. You can see the current going off the chain. And Danny's got our diver.
Anyone can dive. I protect you. To survivor, don't tell me about the banana boat, never.
So far so good. Okay, we're holding. So that's good. Not moving a bit. And that's it for that test. Now we just wait for the guys to come back and have a look at the footage, see how it all went. Be interesting to see what Sebastian thinks of how the whole anchoring setup works now that he's seen it firsthand. How are we looking?
Look really nice, working perfectly. But it's, when I try to record, it's hard because when you move the chain, all the sand of the bottom, just in the more part of the video, you only see sand.
Yeah. Did you go in close to the anchors though to just make sure they set?
Close to the anchors, and when you try to move the second anchor, drag a little bit, but do his work.
Yeah.
Really good. Yes, and you make a big circle around the main anchor with the another anchor.
Did the main anchor ever pull out?
Never. Just turn, make a hole.
Yeah.
But it's deep in the sand, you know.
So it turned and reset for the new direction. Then I pulled it back again. It turned and reset the new direction again.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see the video.
It's how I tell you, it's a lot of sand.
Okay.
Floating in the water.
¿Quiere ver el video? Bueno, saca la GoPro que la pensaba ya por acá.
Sí, pues pásale todos esos videos porque los necesito igual.
All right. Well, we look forward to having a look anyway.
GoPro A, Black Edition.
You're like a walking commercial.
Yeah, that is a walking commercial.
I think Danny learned most of his English from watching DJI commercials.
Take that.
Give the little baby to the anchor rig.
Oh, somebody woke up.
Yeah.
What's
she
going
was
on? All the noise from this engine. Hey, Perla.
Okay, entonces yo voy
What's going on?
No, espérame. Wait 1 second. Why?
All right, well, we got what seems to be a very nice day, but of course it's the calm before the storm.
Yes. 24-hour remaining to the impact.
The beginning of the impact. We got 36 hours of crap after it starts. Not fun.
Not fun.
I love to wake up in the morning, but keep dreaming without wording. The day is gone. And sometimes I take a walk, then I forget about the clock. I can slow down. My friends are sitting laughing, but
GoPro para video.
They're knocking on my door, but I'm knocking them down. They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun. Whoa, lie in the sun. Now I've been to many places and won so many races. I was a child, yeah. But now my only win is now, and my only wear is when I'm by your side. My friends are sitting laughing, but I just keep on laughing. They're knocking on my door, but I'm knocking them down. They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun. Lie in the sun, yeah. Lie in the sun, yeah. My friends are sitting laughing, but I just keep on laughing. They're knocking on my door, but I'm knocking them down. They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun. Whoa, I just wanna lie in the sun. Yeah, lie in the sun. My friends are sitting laughing, but I just keep on laughing. They're knocking on my door, but I'm knocking them down. They say I'm acting crazy, but I just wanna lie in the sun.
Well, looking here at the actual storm track, we're way down here, so it's up north here now. That's Providencia right there. So it's a little bit higher north, but it's grown in intensity, so it could be hurricane category 1 or 2 obviously by the time it gets here, and that's what's making it still hit Providencia harder than us. So far we're still lucky. If it keeps moving a little bit further north at a time, and even if it intensifies, it's going to stay north of us, that's going to help a lot. So we got a little bit more distance between us since this morning even. That's good for us. Okay, well, it's 10 o'clock, and just as if on cue, the storm is starting. It's been building up and up and up for the last few hours, but yeah, we're starting to get now where we're getting into the 30, 35, and almost 40 knots of wind continuous. Our biggest gust so far actually is 38.7, but yeah, it's supposed to build overnight, and we're not sure if we're going to see. Well, we don't know what we're going to see actually, because the predictions haven't been all that accurate. So we know that the storm is now a category 5. That's what I read last time anyway, with sustained winds over 150 miles per hour. I don't know what that translates to in kilometers, but it's a lot. It's more than we want to see here, that's for sure. But I'm going to give this, I figured this would be a good time to test the new camera, since it's supposed to be weatherproof. We hope. And the new microphone, which hopefully is going to be almost windproof. So we're going outside here now. Whoa, shit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can still hear me or not. No idea. But going up on the bow. Well, we got some good wind happening, and this is just in between the gusts actually. But yeah, Sebastian coming up behind me. It's not too bad. I'm just standing here freehand right now. But yeah, you can see there's our emergency anchor. That's what Sebastian and I set up earlier. So it's all rigged and ready to go. We got the chain run through everything here, just ready to deploy overboard right over the side if we need to. Because we didn't have time to test it actually on the roller. And we just wanted to make sure it was easy to throw overboard in an emergency or in a pinch. So there it is, ready to go. And there's the lady. And we got almost a full moon there. Actually, I'm surprised we can see the moon. It's just in a crack between the clouds there now. It's been pretty cloudy for the last while. Yeah, we are in full batten down mode now. And you can see I've let the boom run free because I want to make sure that it stays able to feather into the wind and not create any drag. So in the big gusts, we don't have to worry about the boom putting extra stress on the anchor. So far it's working perfectly. Wind generator's still hanging in there. Of course, it's seen more knots than 40 knots, but not sustained for any amount of time, so it's still doing pretty good. I just recorded a record output for the wind generator though, but it was 500 and something watts, putting out almost 40 amps, 39 amps, and it's only a 400 watt wind generator, so it's doing pretty good. It's still very quiet. You can see it, it's spinning like hell, but it's not making any noise. And it's pumping a ton of power into the batteries right now. There comes our gust now, you can feel it. Yeah, I think that flag will probably be a lot smaller in the morning. Not much we can do with that. Not really too worried about it. Oh. Yeah, that's a bit of a gust, not too bad, maybe 30, 32. That's what we're supposed to be expecting as a constant overnight, into the mid-30s. I figure they're usually a little bit conservative and underestimated with my experience, so I'm figuring, you know, we're probably going to see 45 to 50 for a good portion of the night, but I guess we'll see. The storm is still pretty much on track. Surprisingly, I mean, it's a Category 5 hurricane,